anything can't show you the incredible shame and broken trust and just how people react when they're caught cheating. I think the Coldplay concert, when the kiss cam showed on the couple who were having an affair actively and were cheating on spouses at home, I think it brings up a really good point of how and what happens with cheating. When you make the choice to cheat, you are actually in an addictive format. And whether you want to admit it or not, the dopamine, the adrenaline, the secrecy, the high you get from it is what keeps it going. And I think even though both those people felt shameful about it, knew what was going on, knew it was wrong because of the way they reacted, it goes to show me how deep in they are. They have lost their minds. So I want to talk to you if you're in that situation, if you're in the middle of an affair, or you just have been outed in your affair, or whatever is going on in the situation of you possibly cheating or cheating. I want to talk about the best way, the best outcome for you to do when you've been outed, so you don't further the pain to your significant other, to your family, and possibly you will be able to get to a place of mental health where you can make a better decision and get some clarity. So the first thing I want to tell you is take a breath before you react. When that kiss cam was on them and they saw themselves and they recognized what they were doing and what was airing, you saw their reaction. They hid their faces, they split, they ran away, and that only deepened the guilt, the shame, and the judgment that is sure to come on them, which already has. I mean, that video is going around and around. Take time to pause, to calm your body, to take a deep breath, because remember, whatever your next behavior is after you've been outed is the most important one you'll ever make. Secondly, take responsibility. Take responsibility for what happened, but don't destroy yourself. You should feel guilty. You will feel guilty. That means your values are still in the right place. You may feel shame. On the other hand, whatever you're doing, people make mistakes. As long as you can take responsibility and say it was a bad choice, it was a mistake, it was mine, the faster you're going to be able to start the process and go through what you need to do. Own your behavior honestly. Instead of blaming someone else, trying to sue the concert, trying to sue the kiss cam operator, whoever it is, friends who might out you, whoever and whatever, take responsibility. You can take responsibility for what happened and still be taking good care of yourself. Understand the impact. There's so much denial with an affair that you oftentimes will numb yourself and tell yourself it didn't matter or it's just a friend. Yeah, that's not true. None of that is true. Stop saying it. Stop yourself in your tracks. Your partner's going to feel betrayed. They're going to be confused. They're going to be angry. Friends, family are going to be impacted. Even the person who cheated with you may have complicated feelings. And I think ask yourself, what am I responsible for repairing, and what do I need to let go of? That is the most important question. Where is my responsibility? What do I have to repair? Your first loyalty should be repairing whatever you have with your significant other. Decide what happens next. You have choices, okay? Just because you're outed, just because it is now common knowledge that you had an affair, it's not the end of your story. And so do you want to try to repair your relationship? Are you ready to keep and accept the consequences if that's not possible? And do you need to apologize? What do you need to clarify? Take it one step at a time. What are you going to tell your kids? When people know about what you do, how are you going to make that okay? Are you going to be a mentor for making a bad choice? You know, deciding something that was a terrible mistake? Or are you going to blame it? Are you going to blame it on your child's mom or your child's dad or your boss or whoever? What are you going to do? Be mindful of what you say in public, okay? Avoid doing anything online. It is not your job to defend yourself online. If people ask a simple, honest response, like, you know, anything about it, say this is painful and it's a personal situation and I'm focusing on making things right. That's the best script you can have right there, and act on that. That's enough. Look at the bigger picture. Were you feeling distracted? Were you feeling insecure, disconnected, lonely, stuck? Were there needs you were unmet, fears, avoidances? Was communication lacking in your relationship? None of these are excuses, but they are the first building blocks if you want to get it going again. And you may say, yes, we were not communicating. I was lonely, but I was responsible for making this choice, because there's a lot of better, healthier choices you could have made if you were lonely. Could have gone to therapy, could have started a volunteer project, could have talked to friends, could have done a lot of things. You didn't do. You chose to cheat, and that has to be taken into account, and you have to own that. Begin the healing process. The situation is really painful and it hurts because you have to go through what you did and you have to face it square in the face. What do you want now? What kind of relationship do you want to build? What values do you want to live by? You can never go back to the marriage you used to have, so that's not an option. But you can begin to create a better marriage than you had before. But you can't do that by yourself. You need to be able to prove your trustworthiness so your partner believes you and wants that for themselves too. And remember, you're more than this moment. It's a terrible moment. It's a moment of shame. It's a moment of remorse. Think of what those people must have felt when they left there. They were being called selfish. They were being called stupid. They were being called all kinds of things. And, you know, with good reason. You act that way, you're going to get name called. However, nobody really knows those two people. And nobody really knows what's in your heart or what was in your mind or the fragility you feel about yourself or your self-esteem. Make sure those are on the top of the priority list, working on you before you try to put yourself out. But in the event you get outed for cheating, accept it. Take responsibility, own it, and get in control of what you need to change about yourself going forward before you do anything else. And always stay away from blaming anyone else. If this video is helpful for you, please subscribe. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you so much.